So you got yourself a Sega Genesis Mini, right? It's got about 40 plus games on here. It's a really good retro console that, in my opinion, gives Nintendo's SNES Classic and NES Classic a run for its money, especially with the fact that this has, in my opinion alone, classics that are more fun than the majority of the stuff that's on the SNES and NES Classic. That's not to say that they don't have amazing titles as well, but this right here definitely has more. But what if, live with me for a minute, what if the 40 games on here aren't enough? What if you wanted to have more of the games that you grew up playing back in the day? You know, what if you wanted to have, I don't know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Hyperstone Heist? What if you wanted to have Alien Soldier? Or maybe you want to have Streets of Rage 3 or Bare Knuckle 3, Streets of Rage 1, or any other title like Golden Axe 2. What if you wanted more? That's what this video is about. We're going to talk about how you can add more games to your Sega Genesis Mini. Super easy, super quick, and it's about damn time. What's up, everybody? I'm Miguela Casanova, Hawaii's favorite YouTuber and host of the #1 podcast in the state of Hawaii, the Casanova Podcast. Before we get started with this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ding the notification bell. That way you stay up to date on all the latest content that comes on this channel. And with that being said, if you're ready, let me show you how to hack the Sega Genesis Mini and add way more games to this already awesome package. Roll the intro. The first thing you're going to want to do is install Project Lunar. You're going to get a notification that this is some type of ransomware, which is not. You're just going to click more info and go ahead and install anyway. And then it's going to go through the process of doing this installation, which is traditional. You're going to select the folder you'd like it to go to or the drive. And, you know, once you got all that set, click next and then continue to confirm the installation. And it's going to start the process of installing Project Lunar desktop UI. This process can take a little bit, not too long, but, you know, once it's done, click close. You're going to go to your start menu and then click on Project Lunar. And once it starts up, what you're going to do is make sure that your Sega Genesis Mini is not connected. You're going to press the power switch. You're going to hold down the restart or reset. You're going to plug it in, and then you're going to go ahead and run through the install. It's going to say that nothing's connected. You're going to go ahead and run through this anyway. You're going to go ahead and press yes at this point here. And then you have the option of seeing a interactive tutorial with, you know, kind of like bullet points. You can click yes if you want to see the 5-part step-by-step process, which, like I said, it breaks down everything super simple. It's really idiot proof. Completely optional. For the sake of this video, we're going to go ahead and click yes. You can cycle through it forward and backwards. And while you're doing this, as your Sega Genesis Mini is connected, this is going to take a little bit of time. It's probably going to take about 10 minutes or so to do a full install of Project Lunar. And you're just going to have to wait. It's going to run through its process. Make sure you have a good USB cable. Don't use the one that comes in the box with your Sega Genesis Mini. Just so you guys know, the micro USB for the PlayStation Classic does not work with this process of doing the installation. So after this, it's going to take some time. You're going to be waiting, like I said, and once we get from that point onwards, it's just going to just take its time. It is a bit of a slow process, so if anything, get some chips, get some water, some refreshments, popcorn, whatever you need, and then it will do its thing. And once it finishes, you're going to click close, finish, and now you can go to the game manager. Once you click on this, it's going to show you everything that is on the Sega Genesis Mini already. It's going to prompt you to do a NAND backup if you want. It's completely optional. It's all on you. But you're going to see every game that's already pre-installed on there, and currently you cannot remove the games that are already there. It's going to go through its whole cycle, and it's got about 160, 170 megabytes worth of storage on there. and about 140 or so megabytes that you can actively use. Now, if you want, you can click add new game and you can cycle through your ROMs that you have. Make sure you have proper ROMs. Now, some ROMs can be broken or not functional. Make sure you get your correct region-based ROMs. Like for me, I'm going to use US-based. And what we're going to do here, I'm going to click on Aladdin and I'm going to click on the bin file. I'm going to click on get information. And what this does is it's going to pull up all the information for the game, including artwork and all the information that will show when you typically go to select the game. So you can select between the UK, Japan, the US, different artworks. You can select the region of the ROM. You can force it to other regions if you want. There may be some technical snafus if you do that. That's completely optional and up to you. You can go ahead and click add game. And once that's done, it's going to ask you if you want to sync. So for the sake of time, I've already added about additional 20 or so games, and I'm going to go ahead and click sync now. And by doing that, it's going to start writing all those games to the internal drive that's on the Sega Genesis Mini. This process can take time, and literally if you're adding a bunch of games, you will not be able to install all of the Genesis library, but it will take some time if you're manually going through and you're trying to get information. You may run into a couple errors when it comes to trying to gather the information for the game or getting the correct box art, but just keep trying, redoing it over and over. Like, just keep pressing, get more information, and it will allow you to eventually get the one that you want. And you can check for system updates. You can do additional things such as change the background music. You can change smoothing filters. You can do IP patches. So for instance, if you'd rather play Bare Knuckle 3 with English translations, then you can do that. You just would need to patch the IP file. And other than that, this is all the games I've included on here. It has all the artwork. Every game that I've installed and every game that you will install will be blue versus the pre-installed ones being white. Now you can remove or add any game that you want. Sometimes there may be some region issues, but after that, then we can go ahead and boot up the console and you're going to be brought to the Project Lunar main boot menu. Now you can press A, which allows you to go ahead and boot into the Genesis Classic, and you're effectively going to select your language. And once you're there, as you can see here, we have all of the games that we've installed. We've got multiple rows. Now all these games, they will play just as if they were natively on there. Depending, as I said earlier, on the ROMs, if you didn't get a good ROM, there may be some slowdown. Some games may be region locked depending on the ROM, but there are workarounds, and there are going to be more updates that are coming that will fix this whole issue that you may have with some particular ROMs. But make sure you get a reputable website that has proper ROMs. And technically, I can't give you the information on to where you can get the ROMs. You know, that could not only get me in trouble, but get them in trouble. But, you know, if you want to know, just hit Google. You'll find the ROMs. As you can see, the games will boot up. Here's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Hyperstone Heist. It'll boot up just like it would on a native Genesis, and it just goes from there. And literally, that's it for all the games you're going to add. It's easy. You plug it in, and this is also something I want to explain to you guys. If you want to remove games or if you want to add more to it, then all you need to do is power it on, plug it into your computer, and you don't have to go through the process of holding reset as you press the power. You just literally power it on, make sure you're at the Project Lunar boot menu, and then launch the app on your computer. And from there, you can cycle through your entire catalog of games. You can add more. You can do just about anything you want to do. And that's literally it. You know, it's plug and play. The audio is perfect, or purists may disagree with that. They may prefer authentic hardware, but everything runs perfectly fine. And that is it. That is how you install Project Luna onto your Sega Genesis Mini, and that is how you add additional games. Like I said, I cannot tell you where to get your ROMs, but a simple Google search, if you just search Sega Genesis ROMs, you'll find a plethora of sites. Just make sure you find some good ones. But other than that, that is it, people. That's how you do it. And that's it. That's how you install more games on the Sega Genesis Mini. It is super simple and almost, it's pretty much foolproof. I mean, here's the thing. If you screw up, that's on you. But it's it walks you through how to do it. And when you get all of your games on here that you want, I mean, granted, you have about 160, 170 megabyte limit, but you get most of the games on here that you grew up playing. It adds even more value to this. I know a lot of people don't like the mini consoles. A lot of people think that they're rip-off. There are some purists out there that say you should just go and buy the original hardware. Then there's the other side that say you could just get a RetroPie and emulate it. Tell them to go fuck themselves, and you do whatever the fuck you want to do. If you want to get one of these, and if you want to leave it stock or you want to mod it, that's on you. That's my opinion. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. With that being said, I'm Miguela Casanova, Hawaii's favorite YouTuber, host of the #1 podcast in the state of Hawaii, the Casanova Podcast. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, share, ding the notification bell, and let's go ahead and get the conversation going down below in the comment section. That being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Feels good to be back, even with a bald head, and yeah, deuce as well. I'll catch you on the next one.
Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Congratulations, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, why don't you make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share it with someone you think would enjoy it. You can catch me on all social media platforms from Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and more. And if you enjoy the content and you want to support the channel, there's Patreon as well as channel memberships. Links for everything are down in the description below. And with that being said, this is Miguela Casanova signing out. I enjoy you guys. You guys have a wonderful day. Aloha and mahalo.